Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button to not miss any stories. My name is Daniel Jacks, and this is The Haunting Case of the Zodiac Killer. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, the San Francisco Bay Area was gripped by fear. A serial killer, who would come to be known as the Zodiac Killer, was on the loose, taunting law enforcement and the media with cryptic letters and ciphers. This story is not just one of horror and suspense. It's a tale of obsession, brilliance, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Buckle up, because we're about to dive into one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries that was eventually unraveled. It all began on a warm summer night in December 1968. High school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were parked on Lake Herman Road in Vallejo, California, enjoying the privacy of the secluded area. Little did they know, they were being watched. Around 11 o'clock p.m., a figure approached their car. He drew a gun and ordered them out. In a shocking turn of events, he shot David Faraday first, then turned to Betty Lou Jensen, who tried to escape. She was shot 5 times as she fled. The killer vanished into the night, leaving behind only confusion and horror. The local police launched an investigation, but with no leads and no suspects, the case quickly grew cold. That was until the Zodiac Killer struck again. Just a few months later, on July 4, 1969, the Zodiac Killer would claim 2 more victims, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau. The young couple was parked in another secluded area, enjoying the night sky, when the killer once again approached. This time, he used a flashlight to blind them before opening fire. Miraculously, Michael survived the attack, providing a chilling eyewitness account of the killer to police. He described a man in a hooded costume with a symbol on his chest, but the description was vague and didn't yield any immediate leads. The Zodiac Killer had once again managed to slip through the fingers of law enforcement. What made this case particularly notorious were the letters sent to local newspapers by the Zodiac Killer himself. In these letters, he claimed responsibility for the murders and included ciphers that he challenged the public to solve. One of the most famous was the 408 character cipher, which he sent shortly after the second attack. In the letter, he wrote, "I want you to know that I am collecting slaves for my afterlife." The cryptic nature of his letters sent the public into a frenzy, and amateur sleuths across the country became obsessed with cracking the code. On July 31, 1969, the San Francisco Chronicle published a letter from the killer that contained the cipher. It took a couple of weeks, but a husband and wife team, Donald and Betty Harden, managed to decipher it. The message read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun." This revelation sparked widespread fear and fascination with the Zodiac Killer. As the Zodiac Killer continued to taunt authorities, the fear in the Bay Area grew. On September 27, 1969, he struck again, this time targeting a young couple, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, as they relaxed by Lake Berryessa. The killer approached them wearing a hood with a symbol and brandished a knife. In a bizarre twist, he tied them up and forced Brian to draw the Zodiac symbol on his car door, all while the killer spoke calmly about his motives. He then stabbed both victims, leaving Brian severely injured, but miraculously alive. Brian was able to provide a detailed description of the Zodiac Killer, which further fueled the investigation. The police released a composite sketch, but it did little to narrow their search. The Zodiac Killer's most infamous crime occurred on the night of July 4, 1970, when he murdered cab driver Paul Stein in Presidio Heights. After shooting Stein in the cab, the killer simply walked away, leaving the city in shock. This marked a shift in the killer's behavior, as he had now targeted a single man rather than a couple. The police received calls from witnesses who had seen a man matching the description of the Zodiac Killer fleeing the scene, but once again, he slipped through their grasp. The fear and frustration among law enforcement and the public reached a boiling point. With continued murders and cryptic letters, the Zodiac Killer remained a ghost. The case drew national attention, and police departments from multiple jurisdictions collaborated in an effort to catch the elusive murderer. Investigators meticulously examined every letter and cipher, hoping to find clues that would lead to his identity. In 1971, the Zodiac Killer sent a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle that included a piece of Paul Stine's bloody shirt, further demonstrating his taunting nature. The letter read, "You will never catch me," but as the years passed, the case grew colder. The Zodiac Killer seemed to vanish, leaving behind only a chilling legacy. But the story didn't end there. Decades later, in 2007, a team of amateur detectives reignited interest in the case. They began to review old evidence, including the letters and ciphers, using modern technology and forensic science to try and uncover new leads. Their efforts paid off in 2018 when a breakthrough occurred. A group of cryptographers and amateur sleuths announced that they had cracked another Zodiac cipher, known as the 340 character cipher. The deciphered message revealed more chilling insights into the killer's psyche and motivations, reigniting public interest in the case. The decoded message included phrases like, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me," a testament to the killer's sadistic enjoyment of the fear he instilled in the community. As the investigation continued, a new name began to emerge: Gary Francis Post. Post, a deceased convicted serial killer, had been linked to the Zodiac Killer by former law enforcement officials. He had a history of violent crimes and had spent time in prison, but the connection was tenuous at best. In late 2020, a group of cold case detectives known as the Case Breakers claimed to have identified Poste as the Zodiac Killer. They presented evidence, including Poste's handwriting, which matched that of the Zodiac letters. They also claimed to have linked him to the 1966 murder of a young woman, further solidifying their argument. While the authorities have yet to officially confirm Poste as the Zodiac Killer, the revelation sent shockwaves through the true crime community. The idea that a name could finally be associated with one of America's most infamous unsolved cases was both exhilarating and unsettling. As we reflect on the haunting legacy of the Zodiac Killer, we are left with a complex tapestry of fear, obsession, and the relentless pursuit of justice. The case captured the public's imagination, inspiring countless documentaries, films, and books, each attempting to unravel the mystery of the killer's identity. While the Zodiac Killer may have eluded capture for decades, the determination of amateur sleuths and law enforcement has kept the case alive, breathing new life into an old mystery. The possibility that we may finally know the killer's name is a testament to the enduring power of truth and the relentless pursuit of justice. So, the next time you hear a story about a cold case, remember the Zodiac Killer and the darkness that can lurk in the shadows. Because sometimes the truth is waiting to be uncovered, and justice, though delayed, can still prevail.